Hello, Enid. I am back. Jerald Gilbert, your city manager. You know, I've been thinking all week since the last episode about what material I could bring to you. And this show, I guess if you'll call it this, or this program, this short program, is really just to share some thoughts with you. And I can't say they're all random thoughts because I did jot down a few things. And I've been thinking, well, just now, and then I thought of some things during the week, but I thought I would start off by talking to you about Vance Air Force Base. I, just like you and the community, we really appreciate our relationship with Vance Air Force Base. We thank all of our servicemen and women for their service. There are, 330 million people, something like that, maybe more, living in the United States, and less than a million, I think, in uniform, and less than that in the Air Force. And so we want to thank all of our men and women that serve in the military and at Vance Air Force Base. And I got a close-up glimpse of what it's like to be a fighter pilot. Yes, I'd actually gotten one of the, what they call a flight orientation from the base, and particularly from Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Smith. Thank you, sir. It was a great ride, and I think I have some pictures that you'll get to take a look at. Now, when I tell people, hey, I got to ride in a plane, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, for getting me, and thank you, Colonel Johnson, for getting me that ride. It's quite a privilege. I'm sure we burned up several thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in fuel and time, but I got a tiny glimpse of what a life is like for a student pilot. And so it was sort of like day one for me. And so day one began by showing up leisurely at 8:45 at the base. And I will say they kept a tight schedule. It is the military, you know. And so we went over and I got a brief flight physical. It was pretty brief. They checked some of my vitals, and a doctor came and talked to me, and I had to fill out checklists and things. And the great thing is, though, I didn't have to file any insurance claims. Anyway, I passed the test, the first test there, and then I had a physiology briefing and an equipment briefing, and then I had some actually equipment practical briefs where I actually had to get into a mock-up of the T-38 cockpit and close it and lock it, and I had to hook up in the seat, which is, gosh, it's probably not that complicated, but it's not like your car, let me tell you. There's many points of contact. And then I've got issued equipment, a G-suit thing for the legs and the torso, because I did pull some Gs. But anyway, the first thing people ask me when I tell them that happened is, well, did you puke? Did you puke? I've got good news for you, Enid. Your city manager did not puke. Now, your city manager did get a little uneasy, and I must confess, through my comms with the pilot, Chia, I said, Chia, after we pulled the first, 3 Gs, which probably isn't much, I said, Chia, could you go easy on me? Maybe not pull those Gs, even though it's once in a lifetime deal. He did go easy on me, and it was a great ride in that T-38. Now, there's pretty good visibility out of that thing, and it's pretty neat, whizzing about 500 miles an hour over the countryside. I mean, we were probably halfway to Amarillo in 15 minutes. By the time we just gotten up in the air, I could see the Great Salt Plains. So why am I telling you all this? I'm really telling you this just because this is my opportunity to freestyle with you and tell you some things. Not everybody, I realize, gets a chance to do that. And I had never done that before, and I felt really privileged, and it also made me feel like very respectful of the service of our men and women. And I got a better glimpse into understanding what they do, the student pilots in particular, and the people that support the student pilots, the instructor pilots and the civilians and the enlisted and officers that support the entire training effort to produce 400 to 500 pilots a year. And one of the things I was sitting there and thinking as I was trying not to use my plastic bag, and then enjoy the ride at the same time, I was thinking about, wow, the time, the effort, the sacrifice that student pilots put into this, the instructor pilots put into it, And my pilot, Chia, very experienced, 21 years plus of experience, 3,800 flying hours, something like that. For him, it was nothing. He gets in, hooks up, handles the G's just fine, maneuvers. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I did have an opportunity to fully control the airplane, and I got to say I didn't do all that much. I mean, you can move the stick one way or the other, because again, I was focused on just trying not to get sick and enjoy looking out the window. I couldn't even imagine if I had to actually fly that plane by myself. There's all kinds of dials and all over the cockpit. So anyway, I wanted to say thank you very much for that ride. Thank you very much for that glimpse. And thank you all at Vance Air Force Base, from Colonel Johnson to the senior airmen, to the contractors and the civilians that make that place go. It's a fantastic part of Enid, has been part of Enid since about 1940, 45 or 46, something like that, 47, maybe it's 49, I'm close. Anyway, it was fantastic, enjoyed it, ride of a lifetime. I gotta say, I got a little burst when we hit the ground, just because it was a great ride, but it was nice to be on the ground again. And I did have the thought in the sky that, gosh, maybe I'm just not cut out to be a fighter pilot, is what I was thinking. But it was only day one. So when I got on the ground, I was feeling good again. I got out and said, well, great. If I was a student pilot, I'd get to have day 2 and day 3 and day 4. So I think I'd probably be okay. Maybe I could be a fighter pilot. I don't know. I'm too old now. But you got to have a strong stomach. That's for one thing. And also it gets hot up there. As you know, it was not even that hot yesterday. And you do have, once you get going, you have this little ventilator honeycomb tube that blows cold air on you. But I can't imagine what it'd be like out there in July with all that gear on, your flight suit, your G suit, your gear that you buckle up, that you get into the seat and hook yourself into the seat with, the ejection seat. And I also had a moment where I was thinking, gosh, I've got the ejection seat armed. The safety pins are out. The only thing, for me, I guess having a problem there is pulling the wrong thing. So I'm glad that didn't happen. So that's a testament to the training of the folks there at Vance Air Force Base. Anyway, it was a great ride. I will send you a thank you card, Colonel Johnson. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Smith. And thank you to the team that makes it possible out there. It was great. If you ever get an opportunity, do take it. Okay, well, since I want to keep these sessions kind of short, because nobody likes to listen to people ramble forever, today was also a National Day of Prayer. Today just happens to be May the 6th. And so I went to the flagpole. I was invited to go and pray on behalf of state, local, and federal officials. And I did that, and I'm really glad that I did. It was enjoyable. It was good to visit with the people that are there and see that there's people there taking time out to recognize and pay homage to God. So anyway, I did that, had a good time. I wanted to talk about the main thing going on at the city nowadays. Right now in the month of May is budgets. It's budget season. I think I talked about it maybe a little bit last time. We've got a couple meetings coming up, May 11th, May 13th, and then a regular meeting on May 18th, and then if we need another one, another possible meeting on May 20th. So we're going to be talking about a lot of budgets. Today we've also been conducting an OML, Oklahoma Municipal League orientation. That's very, very good, very first class, put on by the Oklahoma Municipal League. So I'm actually taking a break from that to come and film this, because this is very important to me to share these few thoughts with you. Hey, if you haven't had a chance to see the hotel downtown, go take a look. I know this month, I believe on the 15th and 16th, there is an Oklahoma Transit Association conference. The very first conference is happening down there, so very exciting. I'm sure it's going to be pretty much full on those 2 days, but there'll be plenty of time for you to get in and around that. And there's a lot of conferences coming in June, so it's a great addition to the downtown area. And Purvish Katari and his wife, Nipa, are fantastic additions. His son was here this week. He just went back today, Salvin. And so it's very gratifying in my role as the city manager to get to know folks like this, and folks like you, business people and people that live here that make this a great place to live and continue to elevate this place. To use an old Army term, to be all we can be. So let's see, what else do I have here? Basketball. As you know, I'm a huge Enid Outlaws fan, and so is Scott Orr, and so is Scott Morris. So I missed the last game because I was out. I was confident they could win without me, and I was out hiking with some good friends, Jerry and Rose. I really enjoyed that. Thank you for inviting us. We went out to the Gloss Mountains and climbed up there. We didn't see any rattlesnakes, but it did get hot. But it was a nice break from a normal life. Warm weather's going to be upon us soon. And I guess those are my thoughts right now. I do have something for you to have you, and I know my wife, if nobody else watches this, my wife does. Thank you, Denise. We need to get the book Tiny Habits, because I need to read that book. Because to achieve our goals, we have to put in place tiny habits to make concrete progress every day. So I'm sure in future updates and additions and future episodes of Freestylin, I will update you on that book, but it's fantastic, and it comes highly recommended by Purvish's son, Salvin, who is a doctor. So anyway, I'm going to take a look at that, share that with you. I can't think of anything else right now. I'm really enjoying being your city manager. There are certainly lots of challenges. I'm enjoying working with the new commission. They're all fantastic people, and I look forward to overcoming challenges in the future and continuing to make progress on improving our infrastructure here in town and working on our customer service for all of you, because that's why we exist. That's why people live in the city, because they want to have services and they want to have a nice place to live, and they want to have the Goldilocks approach, just the right amount of regulation, not too much, not too little, just the right amount. So it's debatable if we have that right amount, but we're working on it. In any event, I can't think of anything else right now, so I'll be thinking of some things for episode 4 in the future. But as far as this goes, I think I'm going to wrap up episode 3. Thank you very much. Thank you to the communications team for putting these thoughts together and putting some good pictures with them and getting them out there. Shay, I want to thank you. I think you're doing a lot of the work on this, and you're doing a fantastic job. And I guess the last thing I would say is to city employees out there, you are doing a great job. You are making a difference every day. I'm seeing the asphalt. I'm seeing the water line repairs. I'm seeing the traffic signal improvements. Keep it up. Keep it up. Together, we're making this place even better than it was yesterday. And that was another book that I've got to read in the future, too. Something else that you would get from Purvish downtown at the hotel is you'd get wisdom. And one of the things he told me is that you need to focus on getting just 1% better every day, or look for 1% improvement in everything you do and in 1,000 things, and not just look for one big thing to improve upon. So in any event, I'm really rambling now, but it is Freestylin with me, your city manager. So I'm going to sign off now. I'll see you soon, and stay safe and enjoy life in Enid, Oklahoma.